This next part is establishing the shapes of light and shadow masses. So we're going to keep these very simple and just describe the major shapes that occur. So in this case, all of these objects have the light coming in the same direction. So they all are going to have shadows being cast opposite of the light source. So in this case, this box has a light that is coming in this direction. So essentially it's hitting this and hitting the ground somewhere here. And if you look at your reference, all you have to do is copy that reference, and it's coming down here. And the shape of this shadow is determined by this upper part of the box. So once you've established the box, the shape of the cast shadow, move on to the next one. And same idea. On the reference, the lightest spot is happening somewhere here, so that means that the light is coming in this direction. So that means that it's hitting this this sphere, and it's creating a cast shadow that hits somewhere there, and then a cast shadow that hits somewhere about there. Right? We're just sort of guesstimating, because the idea with this project is to get a sense of the light and shadow and how to utilize the graphite and the blending stumps to create a distinction between the light mass and the shadow mass. The next part is the shadow mass on the object. The shadow mass on the object here is here. The shadow mass on a sphere kind of happens a little bit more on a curve that is equivalent to the shape of the light, and it traverses the circumference of this sphere. So this area will be shadow, that'll be shadow, this will be shadow. And that's just helping me sort of distinguish where that's going to be. For the cylinder, the same thing, the same idea, the same sort of light source is coming down, and it is coming off the edge, and the edge of this on the back, and then on the shadow it's actually going to curve just the same way that it curves up here. This shape is being cast down here as a shadow now, so the shape is going to curve a little bit. And if yours is a little different, that's fine. It's not the point of this is to get these major shapes established, and not so much how accurate that is, but the concept is clear. And because the light is coming from this direction, then this part of this cylinder is going to be in light. So about halfway here where the shadow begins, that's where about the shadow of that cylinder will begin. So this edge right here is where the light ends and the shadow begins, or the shadow ends and the light begins, depending on how you think about it. That's called the shadow core. Just like it is on the sphere, this is the shadow core, this is the shadow, and everything here is shadow, and everything on this side is part of the light or midtone value, and everything here is going to be part of the shadow mass, a darker tone value. For the cone, just project it down. In this case, the cone, I'm going to make it this long, and then the sides pretty straight, right? These edges are pretty straight, so the shape of a cone's shadow is going to be like that. And again, the same as this, because the light is coming in this direction, right about here, all of this is also going to be shadow. We'll project this tip down somewhere there, go opposite of that to this corner, then this will be shadow, this will be shadow. And then for this one, the more complicated one, but we have something that we're copying, so it makes life easier. There. That means this is here. And then it attaches to the bottom of this. So the shadows always have to be attached to the object. Otherwise they don't look like shadows. Unless that object is floating, then it wouldn't be attached to it. Next part is to take your 2B pencil and start giving value. So I'm just going to do one to establish the value shifts, and then you get the sense of how to do the rest. So I'm going to take this, hold it at the end, going this direction, just once, and lightly a second time to sort of fill in some of those lines. And then we'll go over that with the blending stump. And then for the cast shadow, we're going to go over that again, holding it at the very end of the pencil. And the cast shadow will go with a 6B pencil, so that we have a 3-value difference. You have the light mass, a shadow mass, and a cast shadow. And then we'll take our blending stump, and there we have it. So, any more information, and we're getting into the rendering portion. So for these, all you need to do is 2B pencil for the form shadow. This is a form, and just simply give it the value so that it's different from the light mass. We quickly establish a general sense of the shadow mass on the form. And then we'll quickly establish the shadow mass, the cast shadow as well, before we move on. So it's an assembly line type of thing to make sure that when we do this, we do it the same way when we're creating our own drawings. We don't move forward until everything gets the same treatment. And that helps you keep the drawing not only unified, oh, gotta use an eraser, but also a systematic approach. Right, so if you're missing anything along the way, you'll know where it might have gone wrong, and know how to go back and edit to improve.